Hey everybody, we're back for another video. I'm finally getting around to installing our trackball panel on this beautiful cab. So this is a different Aero Table than we did the Aero Table video on a couple years ago. This is the one that I ended up keeping. It is overall kind of the, I think it was maybe like the middle ground of the condition. Or might have actually been the worst condition cabin of the ones that we got. I think we had 3 of them come in. But anyway, this is the one I ended up keeping. For the moment, I believe I have a CPS one with 3 wonders in it. And I'm going to fire this up. We can take a look at it. We're going to be replacing this panel with an official trackball panel and running SegaSonic on it. And I have my 2 lovely assistants here who have never played it. And I have not warned them yet, and I will warn them now. You are probably going to either ruin your wrists or your fingers or something from mashing that trackball so hard. It's very much like a rite of passage, kind of playing trackball games like that. Anyone that's played like Marble Madness or anything like that, they'll understand what I mean. So anyway, we've got here 3 wonders. I'm gonna pull this out, and before we do it, I forgot on my Aero Table, or my Aero City video, I was also going to show Dotori-kun, which is this. This is the Sega's test board that came with their candy cabs. If you bought a candy cab new, you would get one of these. And Dotori-kun is, it's just there to test the joystick input, sounds, video, and all that kind of stuff. So it's just a cute little board like that that comes with a candy cab. So we're going to throw this in first, and then we're going to come over here. We showed this in a previous box opening video, and we're going to swap out the control panel, and we'll play some Sonic. Open this sucker up. I think I need... Oh, that one's already unlocked. I think this thing needs to be degaussed a little too. Okay, let's turn this back off. Come on over here, pull our board out. Ow. Okay, drop that in. There we go, and we've got the game up. Got a nice white screen. We can actually see, you can see right there, it needs to be degaussed a little bit, but I'll worry about that later. Okay. Start, and then we've just got this simple little game here, much like a Pac-Man or something like that. Oh, okay, yeah. So we got a pause button there and whatnot. It was really simple, nothing really special to it. I just wanted to show that, show that it's, this is just what they send out. It's very basic. I don't remember if it's actually supposed to play sound now that I think about it, but like, yeah. Anyway, that's Dotori-kun. And if you had ever bought a brand new candy, this would have come with it. Let's just see if we can actually get all the dots. Cannot turn. Oops. Okay. Anyway, that's that, and let's go ahead, shut this down, open up the control panel, and do I need tools for this? No, it's just, oh, this is loose. I have to remember to keep this tightened later. Oh, it only has one wing nut too. So, okay, let that hang. I will need tools for that. I need to break and go grab those. But so here's our control panel that we picked up. For the most part, I don't know if I mentioned it in the video when we opened this, determined that this is an original panel box for an Aero City, which is kind of cool. The original cardboard. Weird collectors in there, original cardboard. But we've got our panel here, which I believe these connectors should just drop in, be good to go. This one is in, really good shape. And I really hope so, because I paid quite a bit for it, if I remember. And there's some extra harnesses in here. I believe these would be for hooking up to other... No, these couldn't have come with it. I think... I'm not sure what this is. These must have come from something else. Maybe I bought some other harnesses at the same time, but this doesn't look like it goes with. This actually looks like more like a Model 1 harness or something. I don't go to this, so let me go grab, let me see, tools, and let's get this panel off and change it out. Nope, okay, good, these are long enough. So this is a really nice 3-button panel that I have on here already. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. It's probably just going to go into the... I may not be able to reach that screw. It's probably just going to go into the box and get stored for now. I don't know that I'll ever need another Aero panel, but you never know. I'll just sit on it for now. Yeah, I can't reach those top ones. Might need to just take the usually I can get these off with my finger a lot faster than the driver once you get it started. Actually, I could probably reach those if I just take the panel off the hinge, but I don't really want to do that.
For ease of convenience.
Yeah, for ease of convenience, but I think I'm just going to take the end off the driver and just loosen them. So I've been waiting on it for a while. The reason I don't have a marquee on the Aero Table right now is mine is out to be reproed, and I haven't gotten it back yet. But it was interesting. This panel had to have been used for Sega because, like I'd mentioned in my previous opening video, it came with the small marquee arts for the game, which I don't remember if I had. But I'm sure I'll find out once I open that PCB. Okay, let's see if we can get those last 2 bolts free here. Oh, that is tightening it. That is not what I want. Yeah, I can get them. See if we can get this one here. Ooh, that one maybe not. Might need a pair. Need an actual wrench to get that one off. I'll give it one more try. I don't think I have a wrench on me, so hopefully I can just undo it. So all it's got to go is just like a quarter turn or something.
Just enough to get it loose.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. If I can get it to go the last bit. There we go. Okay. And I believe we're going to have around these connectors. Just unplug these, I think. Oh, nope, there we go. Okay, so take these off. Oh, and the ground nut's already off. Okay, so there's that. Grab our trackball panel and try ever so hard not to put them on upside down. Okay, so that we want it, yeah, this way. It's like anybody that has been around me long enough and like talked to me about these cabs in particular, I've been trying to get a trackball panel for years. So
Are they hard to get your hands on?
oh, they're hard. They're expensive too. The original ones, especially a nicer looking one like this. And for me, this game in particular, I was originally attracted to it at California Extreme. There's one person that would bring his Aero Table that had a trackball panel and Sonic, the trackball one in it. And ever since, I always thought it was really cool. I was like, I'm never going to get that. I'll never be able to find an Aero Table, whatnot. Then sure enough, you know, several years later, I'm in the business and I get 3 Aero Tables. But it has taken me much longer to finally just sit down and pick them up. Because like trackball panels were going for, I don't even remember. It was a lot. It was more than I was willing to pay. Like upwards of like 600 to 1,000 or something. I don't remember. If I break it all in this video, I'll go look up and see what I actually paid. Because I feel like I'm almost exaggerating, but I feel like it's up at least above the $600 range to get a trackball panel these days. Jesus. When they come up. But I'm glad I got this one. It was more affordable than a lot of them in the past, so I am thankful for that. But also I'm just thankful like it's in really good condition. There's very little to no rust on it. You know, came with an original box, came with the Sonic arts, which I won't be able to put in right away because I don't have the marquee holder, but just a really nice turnout for this cab. And I'm thinking about bringing this one to California Extreme this year as well. I don't know if I am yet, just because anything in the house is a little bit more of a pain to get out. But I want to bring it because he isn't bringing his anymore, and I want others to be able to experience it, get that same feel that I got, that I was like, oh, that's freaking cool. Because that's the whole point of California is Extreme, is to go play stuff that you can't anywhere else. And of course there's some staples and whatnot that you want to see there. You know, that's nice to get together with people and play. But for me, like my interest in California Extreme has always been like the weird stuff, or you know, even just stuff that's uncommon, maybe not super rare, but like things like armadillo racing, or like, you know, a lot of people go there and like Magical Truck Adventure is a big draw. They want to play that. There's always the Panic Park tournament. There's, you know, lots of rare games. Like that was one of the few places you could play, what was it? Marble Man, which is the sequel to Marble Madness, which as of this recording, I think the game was released on MAME finally, or it was finally dumped. I don't know if it works in MAME yet, but it was finally dumped like less than 3 weeks ago, and that was really significant to me because that's a game that I really liked. But there's also, I mean, there's a lot of like older games that for me, maybe you can find them in other places, but I always loved going and playing Mad Planets and iRobot and, you know, a couple other things like that. But like, you know, it's the weird games, or you want to play an old game and you want to play it like it's in brand new condition, or like, you know, really well kept. California Extreme is really cool to do that. Like, we've collectively, my friends, you know, have been the ones providing the rhythm games, and like, yeah, they bring a lot of the older rare ones as well, but you know, like some of that we can play anywhere, but others can't, you know.
That's fair.
But anyway, that's just a little bit of the background why this game has me so excited. So there is actually an adapter that allows you to play it with a joystick. It's never the same. Anytime you've got like a trackball where you've got, you know, basically analog direction control, and you put it into an 8-way stick, it's never going to be the same.
Yeah.
But there is an adapter for it. I literally have held off on playing this game because I don't want to play it that way. I want to play it with the trackball. So
it's a unique experience.
yeah. So while we're putting this the rest of the way together, I don't really know too much about the trackball itself either, but like you can see here, you've got an X and a Y, and there's a PCB on here that has, you know, one of these 5-pin connectors on it. And, you know, that, I mean, it's a trackball. It's like anyone that's, oh, well, I mean, I guess I can't really assume that everybody watching this grew up with old mice, you know, but like actual ball mice. But it works basically the same thing. So you've got your X and Y input. Oops, this one I think is the one that needs the ground on it. Let me undo that. But yeah, you've got your X and Y inputs there, and I think just like a roller on the inside. There's nothing, you know, terribly special about trackballs besides that and the fact that they have a, you know, they have kind of more of a variable. I think they have variable speeds. I'm not sure, actually. Don't quote me on that one, but I'm not sure if the game just recognizes like a continual, like if you continue to roll, or I don't know. Like all I know is that you gotta. It's like Marble Madness. You have to. You're gonna end up mashing that trackball pretty hard to get it to do what you want. So.
Or like a lot like the Simpsons bowling game where it's actually...
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah, I forgot about that, yeah.
So, question, how hard is the maintenance for trackball panels like this?
I would assume it's like anything that can get dust in it. Most of your maintenance is going to probably end up being just opening it and cleaning it regularly. It's the same as any old mouse, like you have to open it up and, you know, clean out the ball, otherwise you get... like it doesn't really input correctly. And when we get this up and running, we'll go into test menu as well, and you know, kind of look at, I fired up the board before to make sure it worked, but I don't remember if I actually went through it all. I definitely didn't do it on video. But watch, I'm gonna get all this together, and then I don't know where it's not gonna work right or something. Do we have, I think we have cables stuck up in there. Let's see here. Yeah, that harness is stuck under the... Might have to undo this. How is this? Damn it. This thing is so tightly packed, I can't. Like, is it supposed to just fit in there, or? Damn, I have to undo the whole thing. Well, I guess I'll be right back. I'm gonna get this cable out and Maybe I'll actually look up that thing I was going to look up. So yeah, we'll be right back.
Stop the video. And go.
Okay, so we got the whole thing hooked back up. Oh, do we have that knife over there still? The kniffy. I'm just gonna. I might be able to slide this out. I think I can get this out. Yeah. And we also went and looked up the trackball panel that we got was around $450 plus shipping, which it's batched in with everything else. So.
Not bad.
But that means that the ones that we got that we missed out on were, I think considerably more expensive than that. It's just disgusting to think of. Oh, so now that I'm looking at this has a separate harness. It looks like for hooking into an Astro City. So that's interesting. This panel, I guess, was designed also to be compatible with that. So let's go ahead. Hook this up. Really? Yeah, let's do it the right way. Come on. Oh, maybe. Oh my God. Yeah, I forgot. These clips are. Wait, no. This should work. There we go. Yeah, it's no wonder they did away with these connectors later down the line. I mean, these are only 9-pin each. A lot of newer games using quite a few more inputs. So, okay. All right, that should be everything. Let's hook it up. Let's grab our board, and hopefully it still works. Which we'll test it, so it should work. Let me get this on nice and tight, though. All right. And here's our PCB, which I've probably been at least a year, or it's been like a year and a half or more since I bought this. Give you an idea how long I've been trying to do this. So this, I think I paid, I don't remember if I paid around $600 for this, or if that's what it's going for now. Whatever it was, like, I know I paid a lot less than what a lot of these PCBs are going for now. My friend had actually expressed interest, didn't realize I already had one, and I went back and looked it up, and I think it was either like $400 or something like that. And it's just shocking how much the value of this PCB went up since before. So this one was a conversion from Golden Axe. Like, you can see the Golden Axe 2 logo on there, but it is an original. If I remember right, they converted Golden Axes into this. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but that's what I remember, because I did the research. I had looked it up, and I'd seen that on there, and obviously you see it, you think, well, is it really legit or whatever? Anyway, I'm pretty sure it was an official conversion from Golden Axe 2. Let's go ahead and turn this on. I'm gonna, as soon as I confirm it's running, which it is not. Did I? I'm gonna check the connection. Might have been that. There we go. Yeah, I think that connector was just not straight on, so actually, while I've got this open, I think one of these is DGOS. Nope, that's test. service and DOS. There we go. Nice and clean. Now, if I remember right, we couldn't really do much adjustment on the monitor screen size outside of this before, so I'm going to leave it the way it is, but go ahead, we'll put this down. It looks just fine with this down anyway, so. But let's see here. So, okay, we cannot use the test trackball in there. Probably. Oh, that button's. Oh, there we go. I might check that. That button was a little stiff at first. Okay, so it looks like we're definitely going to have to use the test and service button to navigate here. Let's go to input test. And yeah, so here we've got our trackball test. Uh-oh. Do we not start and attack work? I wonder, do we not have any trackball input? I wonder if maybe, might have to look into this a little bit more, but I'm gonna venture a guess that maybe I actually needed some of this. But it doesn't look like it. Like, this looks like a regular candy panel. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna take a look at the PCB and see if it has a port for it, but yeah, nothing seems to come up on the control ball there. Let's just go back out, see if it does anything in game. Like, I assume it wouldn't, but let's first go settings, oh, here we go, setting. There we go. Exit. So I'm going to assume that there is something not hooked up correctly with the trackball. And we'll probably find that out in a sec here. Nothing yet. Okay, so I'm going to do some research into this. We'll come back once I've figured out what we missed, and we'll go from there. So, I have Lemony here. There will be many more videos with, well, I don't know about many. There will be more videos with Lemony coming up.
Yep.
Since this is an old video that I'm trying to finish up, but we finally are solving the age-old question of why this doesn't work.
So, it's my fault. I mean, thus far, partially. And it's because, and I talked with Gamester about this previously, but the difficulty of making adapters for things that I don't have is that I have to go off of photos and wiring diagrams and descriptions, and sometimes things are accurate, sometimes aren't. So it's a process of trial and error. This is a great example of a process of trial and error. I was not aware of how this was wired up, and on top of that, I was going off the SegaSonic the Hedgehog manual and wired up this adapter improperly. So what we're going to do, what we can do now that I know that start and the jump button are handled by the native harnesses, is that I can throw out this edge connector altogether and then just go directly to the daughter board for the trackball connections itself. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So,
and that's kind of what I had thought, considering the fact that there is a daughter board there, that's what that's for. Mm-hmm. But, you know, this kind of solves our mystery. I had kind of been a little bit misleading in my request as well, because, you know, we had seen those connectors there and wondered why. Well, you know, because again, the trackball did go into, you know, it goes through that. Yeah. So, and we know that for sure. So
the thing that I didn't know as well, and this is why it's important to be as descriptive as possible, is I didn't realize that both players' trackball signals went through a single amp connector like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this harness that I made and adapt it so that it connects directly up to this and then goes down directly to the trackball daughter board itself.
And hopefully you'll be able to get some use out of the reclaimed
Oh yeah,
harnesses and
I'll
parts
be
as
able
well,
to
yeah.
I'll be able to get this taken care of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the wires off of this daughter board that I need, and then I am going to crimp new pins onto the ends and get it connected to this 26 pin connector. Unfortunately, the 26 pin connectors for that socket are no longer made or are difficult to find. So what I did was, this is a JST RA60-26. It's the same connector that's used for analog connections for Naomi IOs. What I did was I just shaved off the polarizing key there, and it'll fit right in. So we shouldn't have too much of a problem with that. Sometimes you have to make do with what you have. Other than that, yeah, it should slide right in. So, yeah. Unfortunately, sometimes you have to make do with what you have. I'm usually pretty good about finding the connectors that I need in order to get things working to stock. It's just this one I've looked, I haven't been able to find it. So,
well, also lately, we talk about everything being in shortage. Would you like to talk about the wire shortage? Since that's something that you've been dealing with very much in the forefront. And I don't know that I've brought it up in any videos, but I definitely have brought it up in discussions with people.
The wire game right now is frustrating, to say the least. My normal wire supplier, I used to go through Lap Tannehill, and their wire costs, and I've talked about this publicly, but Lap Tannehill's wire costs went from like 6 cents a foot for 1,000 feet to 25 to 32 cents a foot. And you know, naturally, a spool of 1,000 feet of wire went from like 35 to 40 bucks for me, all the way up to 180 plus. So I've had to be really creative in locating wire suppliers that have maintained the same prices. I have not been successful in finding the exact same price, but I've been successful in finding prices that are just a little bit more expensive, but not as expensive as my prior suppliers. So I've developed a really good relationship with a couple of wire companies out there, and they've become pretty reliable. These companies also happen to not just offer striped wire, but they also do custom wire dyeing, which makes it really good for me, because Sega, and this is something that we were just talking about earlier today, Sega likes to use really weird wire colors for their wiring, and it's great because everything has its own wire color and it's all very distinguishable. The problem is, because it's so varied, it causes a lot of grief in getting that set up. So this is what I'm doing. I went through and I pinned out which wires go where for this connector, and I'm just going to line it up that way. So that way all he has to do is just plug this in and then plug that in, and it works. So
it's a fancy
wire
depinning tool you got there.
This is the...
How much do those cost, and where can we get them?
A penny and Office Max. They come in boxes of like 100 or 1,000 or whatever, so it's very easy to find. No, this is an old trick. The depinning tool, the official one, I think is like 50 or 60 bucks, and you know, paperclip will do it just fine. So for those of you who don't know, if you look inside these connectors here, you'll see that there's a little notch up at the top there. What you want to do is you want to shove the paper clip in that notch all the way back and then pull the wire out. So you can see right here. So I'm sticking it in. It's in the notch, if you can see it. So you stick it in all the way, you grab the wire, and you pull both out. Super simple. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just wiring this up so that they line up the way that they should.
And the reason I kind of wanted to bring up the wire price crisis is just that a lot of people in the hobby, even after going through the pandemic and seeing things that have happened, they're not willing to accept the cost of this kind of custom wire work. And one big thing that I worked on with Lemony here was to get him to get paid what he's worth. And I think while rising costs of like not being able to get connectors or not being able to get affordable wire and whatnot really helped drive him over the edge and think about those things, because it just got so expensive. But just, I hope people can understand, or at least one person listens to this and realizes that, yes, okay, I see why, you know, why this connector is so expensive or why this custom work is so expensive. It's because we have to bear the brunt of that. There's a difference between a person like I'm not gonna assume what you make every year or anything, but like there's a difference between like you spending, you know, $1,000 or $5,000 of your own dollars stocking up on stuff and then doing stuff for fun. You know, you maybe like make a little bit out of it, and then having to invest $10,000 to $15,000 instead. You know,
Yeah.
There's a big difference. And when it comes to that point, you know, people that are doing all this stuff that are, you know, really helpful for the community, not, you know, looking after it for profit or anything like that, there's a certain point where you break and you just can't do it anymore. And if you want to keep doing it, you have to start charging what's reasonable prices. So there's a little bit of advice, and it's the same thing with me too, doing shows and, you know, starting the industry over here is if I start too low and people are like, oh, okay, well, you know, that's cool. And then you start going to what your normal rates are supposed to be or what you wanted to charge. And they're like, oh, well, that's too much. It's always better to start high and work low.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of a little bit of a problem, like the growing pains of inflation and, you know, recessions and stuff that people have to deal with.
Yeah, and I will tell you this, like, no matter how much I decide to charge, you know, a little bit more, I think I raised the prices for the stuff that I mass produce like $6 or $8 each. You know, for the bigger things like, you know, standard control panel harnesses and whatnot. I'm still, I'm closer to breaking even. But based on the stuff and the bulk that I buy and the things that I make, it takes a really long time to break even for stuff like that. So you know, people think, and I don't think I have a lot of people asking me, oh, well, you know, you must be rolling in it because you charge too much. But I do get the impression that people are concerned that I'm just profiteering when I'm not. I'm really not. I have been doing this for nearly 10 years, and I file my taxes for this, and it's surprising to me to see exactly how upside down I am in this hobby. That's not to say, you know, poor me, I'm not making any money off of this, but it illustrates a point. I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this because I love the community. I love the ability to get other people playing games, and I love taking care and fulfilling of a need, you know. Somebody online had, you know, I tell you all the time on my personal Instagram at Lemony Vengeance, if you're not following me, that I'm happy to serve. I'm happy to help people out. And somebody commented once that was like, oh man, this humble servant shtick really works for you. And, you know, he didn't mean it like derogatorily or to denigrate me. But I mean, it's true. I do really enjoy being the humble servant of the arcade community. I'll go out of my way to make adapters for hardware that I don't even have, like this, so that people can play a game that they really like. I'm willing to go through my own personal stresses and strains to make that a possibility. And I legitimately appreciate the trust that everyone gives to me to help them build and make gameplay possible.
And see, while I make, good money in my business and all that stuff, I'm the same. I did this because it was a service that I felt wasn't there, and especially after other distributors got out, and, in this area not being any events, any event providers, I was the same thing. I'm happy as long as I'm surviving and providing. And there are people like that in the community, but unfortunately there's a lot of people that aren't like that can't understand how people like us operate. So they assume that we've got some ulterior motive or there's something else going on, and it's not the case. But yeah, no, there's, I don't know, it's just nice to kind of share that. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping the podcast that I'm intending to do helps to bring a lot of that energy over. And I know there's a lot of people that recognize and appreciate it. And
there
honestly,
are.
That's the reward. Like, you can't live and eat on self-satisfaction, but you can certainly get life fulfillment out of it,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm doing, I'm just making sure that all the wires are the same length so that the connector isn't, totally janky. Let's
look at this guy and his experience.
I'm just going to make a garbage pile. We'll clean that up in a bit.
Or we'll clean it up in a couple weeks. Honestly, that's how I do stuff around here. I mean, look, this isn't even that bad right now. There's just piles of stuff everywhere and whatnot. But like, I get to things in their due time in here, so don't even worry about any mess.
No.
But
no, I feel you. I'm the exact same way at my house. Yeah. I've got a room in the basement that I make everything in, and I have very little space.
I love your room, by the way.
Oh, the Daniel Radcliffe Memorial Workshop?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It is.
I should do a little tour of it when we come by through in 2 weeks or something.
Oh yeah. I'll be sure to tidy it up a little bit.
Yeah, no, whatever you're down to show, like, your workshop's cool. Like,
I've got oh man, I have so much wire. So just, stripping off ends here.
Do you have your machine yet? You still gonna get the machine?
The automatic crimper?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. That's gonna go in the game center. So all my crimping will be done off-site. I don't have enough room for it. It takes up a lot of space. All right. So a lot of people ask me, hey, it must require a lot of equipment to do what you do. And I say, no, it doesn't. All it takes is, some wire cutters and some strippers and, where did my crimper go?
Not that one, right? The blue one that you just picked up?
Nope. So this is my old one, but this is a Hosan P706. You can get these on Amazon for like $45. This is what I do all of my crimping with, is this exact tool. And it's done well for me, and it's something that, I'm going to continue using. And a lot of people have been like, well, it doesn't crimp both sides of the pin. And my statement for that is, yeah, but do you really want to spend $500 on a tool and $200 on the die for the tool just to do a double crimp? So
I was like, maybe you, as much as you do it.
Well, now, yeah, I mean, I can justify that,
but like, not everybody else is going to, No. And it's like, I just bought a $3,600 ID card printer. It does, both sides print, no white border. real high quality. It can read RFID codes and do stuff with that. What we're hoping is it'll be able to print like an EMU's card ID on the back, you know, all sorts of neat stuff like that. And, you know, I calculated out how much I'll have to print to print. It was like 1,000 or 10,000. I think like 10,000 prints or something, and it breaks even. I'll go through that in like a couple months.
Yeah.
You know, but who else is going to be like, oh yeah, I'll totally buy one of those so I can print my 10 or 15 cards? Of course not, you know?
Yeah.
It's the same thing like with your auto crimper and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that wire stripper, so I got a machine that will automatically measure, cut, and strip both ends. That thing, I spent like $600 on that, and it has more than made up for the time saved. It has allowed me to really explode as far as production goes. But of course, everything is still crimped by hand. Once I get the crimper, I mean, game over, dude. That's going to be like at a level where I can like open up an online store and sell things and have things regularly stocked, because I'm not going to be spending, 10, 15, 20 hours crimping wire by hand.
Well, I mean, can you imagine like what JNX is no longer in business, right?
But he is and he isn't at the same time.
But like you could imagine someone doing that. You know, are you gonna do all that by hand?
Oh yeah.
Like,
nope. So yeah, Jamination X is kind of still in business, but he's not. There is a lot of there's a lot to that story, and I don't think it's my place to necessarily talk about.
Well, this is also not necessarily the video for it. We've already turned this into like podcast 0.5 at this point, but like this actually honestly is exactly what I want to do in a podcast. And I'm sure that I'll have you on as a guest.
Oh
and,
no, absolutely.
We'll have our talks about things, but
All right. So I brought this one that I've already completed as a guide. This one makes it so you can just plug your spinner directly into your Sega cabinet. It'll go over the JAMA harness. But I brought this one as a guide so I can see where to plug the wires in, so I don't have to consult the manual. I still have to consult the manual for the ground and the voltage, but that's not too bad. So all I have to do is just go by color and keep them sorted. This is player 1. And we're gonna do.
And generally in these wiring diagrams, they make these pretty, not self-explanatory, but they group stuff in a way that makes sense. So if someone had to go and work on something, they can.
Yeah, and like I said before, the great thing about Sega is they have a different wire color for everything. The problem with Sega is they have a different wire color for everything.
And I'm sure I think this is something I brought up in other videos, is Sega is also the ones known for making the GD-ROM connectors that have yellow for 5 volt and red for 12 volt.
Yeah, dude, don't get me started about Sega and their 5 volt, 12 volt mix up. That makes it really difficult because I make, voltage harnesses for, lots of stuff that isn't Sega.
Well, and I've genuinely blown, I think, a Raspberry Pi when I was trying to power it off of that because of that.
Yep.
I mean, then granted, that might have been like $20-$30 then, but like we're in a period right now where they went up to like a Raspberry Pi went up to like $100-$200 people were scalping them for.
Dude, it's nuts.
Like,
welcome
to
pandemic
prices
times.
On shit,
Yeah, that's bananas. And purple. There's one more purple wire that's floating around here somewhere.
Or is it?
It's right here. Yeah, and I have to stress 100% that this setup that I have, this is like my travel gear. So it's like bare minimum. I've got, pins and connectors, and this box right here for some of the, super basic stuff. But even then, you can see this is just a small selection of the stuff that I have. I have everything labeled and binned and organized at home. So All right, I've got to connect voltage here, and for that,
You want to double check.
yeah, I definitely want to double check that. All right. Oh, we found out. Okay, so this control panel came with a kit with a whole bunch of adapters on it, and we figured out what these 10 and 11 pin connectors are for. This hardware came with an optional filter board
Okay.
that plugged into the JAMA edge, and these connectors plug into the filter board and then go from the filter board into the daughter board
Okay.
directly. So this is where
That came
where
from.
that came
and
from.
I remember I pointed out this other harness here. That might be the same thing.
Yeah.
This is
Yep.
just a different version of it
Yep.
that goes into the kick.
Yeah. Yep. This is a different version for it. Just goes into the kick for an Astro.
Okay. Cool. And I'll keep all that stuff together. You know, it was a pretty complete little setup that I got with it. Like the art that I didn't have, I already have from elsewhere. So I think this will be a real nice, you know, finished piece once it's all finished or whatever.
Oh no, it'll be fantastic. Yeah, I've actually played this game on an Aero Table before.
Yep. And so have I, and we probably did it at the same place too.
Yeah, California Extreme.
Earlier in this video, I mentioned, you know, that was my motivator, my inspiration for wanting to get this done myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Fox had one.
Fox. Yeah. I think that was my inspiration for wanting to even own one.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of that dream's kind of out in left field.
Well, it's crazy. I don't know if I talked about it earlier, but like I paid at least $2,000 around the 2,000 range for this table at some point, and like even just since the 2 years or so maybe since I've got it.
Yeah.
Prices for that kind of stuff are through the roof.
Dude.
I think I bought a mini the mini cute I bought you was under 2,000. Now they'll sell for like 5, 6, even,
5 or 6.
like
yeah.
some, you know, obviously some restored, but even like ones that aren't, it's ridiculous. Pokemon cards, Magic cards, fucking everything you can collect, you know.
Yeah, people got a bunch of disposable cash during the pandemic, and a lot of people did the right thing by paying bills, and even more did the dumb thing and injected it into the economy. And that's fine. That's what it was supposed to do. But
Yeah.
like, you know, okay.
And then
so
some of them injected it into Bitcoin.
some of it injected into Bitcoin.
Yeah, well, it is what it is.
See, I'm buying the dip on Bitcoin right now, and I'm kind of hating life. But even then, it's better to lose $5 or $6, you know, in possible, you know,
Yeah.
potential money rather than losing like $5,000 or $6,000. There are people who like put second mortgages on their house so that they could get Bitcoin, and they lost it all, and that's horrible. This is done.
Yeah.
So we'll test this out, and when it's tested and confirmed, we'll zip tie everything together to look pretty, and
Yep.
you'll be off to the SegaSonic races.
So we'll be right on back.
I'm
Okay, so we got this all hooked up. We've crimped you've zip tied the cable together. We've got it all together there. Go ahead, let's flip it on.
Where's the switch on this bad boy? Right here.
Yep.
There we go. Oh no! You know what?
Oh, that was it.
That was it. Oh, cool.
Go ahead, pop that down. And let me get you an authentic stool to sit on. And come on over here. Grab out our nice red Sega stools. It's red
Yes.
for SegaSonic.
Velvety.
So you can have the full experience of mashing your wrist and
The only thing
not being able to view this game at a good angle. My one complaint about the Aero Table.
Oh. Did you put the connector in the right way?
Yeah?
It's not moving. All right, hang on. Let's take a look at the connector. Yeah, it's in the right way. Oh, there it is. It just wasn't moving. All right. Gotta hurry. Spike ball's gonna get me.
You have to use the attack button too.
All right, there we go. Okay.
So this game is definitely known for destroying wrists. Like you have, like any trackball game is, but yeah, you gotta mash the shit out of that thing. So this is also normally a 3-player game. So if you had this, say, on a Sega Swing or something, there is a 3-player panel. Essentially, every single mechanic in this game is just go as fast as possible and jump when you're supposed to, or you get screwed. And you get screwed pretty fast, as you can see. Like it is very brutal.
Oh no!
So unless you actually, yeah, I know, it just hurts. So there is a mod that allows you to play this game with a joystick, but why would you? You know?
Oh my gosh.
So here, watch for the parts that are the ground that's shaking.
Whoa! Gotta get the rings.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Also, Sonic talks in this game quite a bit.
No bonus. So I
Like, I don't think I've played enough Japanese Sonic games to know to be familiar with his like Japanese voice acting, but like it's still unusual to me. Oh boy, it's Ice, our favorite.
Oh man! All right, climb up. All right.
It's like, I don't know that there's any other Sonic games where as much stuff is trying to kill you at the same time.
Oh my gosh.
So I think like the difficulty of trying to like say 1cc a game like this isn't really so much the game being difficult, it's how the fuck are you supposed to you know, your hands, how your hands, your wrists supposed to last through this, you know? Look at that, it's like now you're going uphill and it's just gonna... Everything is just, you have to push harder. It's brutal. I don't know what the game settings are at, but it seems to be giving you a fair amount of life at least.
Yeah.
Like you're coming close to the end of that, but so I guess it's about a reasonable like credit, but yeah, there you go. Oh, it's so brutal.
Yeah, this game's rough.
Yeah, it really
it's fun,
is.
but it's rough.
So, I think that's really all we've got to give on it. This video is already infinitely longer than I ever intended it to be.
But yeah,
like many of them, but now it's all good and working.
Yeah, it's working. Everything is good, and people can see that, you know, not only do I actually do things that work, I back up the stuff that I make.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, no, like this was, I wanted to be able to bring this to CAX this year, and I didn't. I actually didn't end up bringing anything I wanted to bring to CAX for other reasons as well, but I'm hoping that next year this is something that'll come out again, and you know, who knows? It'll breed an entire new generation of Sonic nerds that want, you know, the ability to play this game. And it's not cheap. It's expensive as hell to put all this together. It's easily over $1,000 invested into just the hardware and panel and all that stuff. And you know, I spent at least a year or two casually looking for the stuff for it. So there it is, SegaSonic the Hedgehog, one of I think like 3 weird kind of little like Sonic games from the arcade back in that era.
What are the other ones?
It would be I would say like it's Sonic the Fighters.
Yep.
And Sega Supersonic.
Yeah.
Or no, SegaSonic Bros. That's what it is. Yes, those 3, and the third, you know, being a prototype. So, you know, I might do a video on those other 2, you know, just for fun at some point. But yeah, this one gets its own video for sure. Anyway, hope you enjoyed watching this video. I'll probably have some stream up of this at some point whenever I finally get out of work hell. So please look forward to it. We'll see you in the next video.
Bye.